Welcome back to Tipping Point. I'm your host, Kara McKinney. A former sheriff's deputy from Tennessee becomes the latest victim of the national security state Leviathan. A 29-year-old man named Ronald Colton Maccabee, who was thanked by cops on January 6th for helping them and for trying to render aid to a dying protester, Roseanne Boyland, as she was crushed and beaten by Nancy Pelosi's unaccountable Praetorian Guard, has now been convicted on all counts by a biased D.C. jury of charges including disorderly or disruptive conduct in a restricted building and assaulting, resisting, or impeding an officer. That last part has to do with him trying to get the officer's attention amid the chaos of screaming, yelling, and limited vision as he tried to help Boyland as she lay unconscious amid the crush of the frenzied crowd. Here's what his wife Sarah told Nick Searcy about what the video shows from that day.
The same video evidence that the government's used to charge him with, exonerate him, if you would just turn on the audio. It's one of the things that they don't want to listen to is the audio. They'll play the videos and they will narrate the story. They won't play the audio because in the audio, he's communicating with these Metro and Capitol police officers saying, I'm helping you, I'm one of you. One of the officers agrees and says, help me up. At the same time, Roseanne Boyland was dying and he was trying to get to her to render medical aid. He gives her life-saving compressions. And then at the very end, the last video that you see him in, the officer is thanking him for his help that day.
The officer is saying thank you to your husband?
Yes.
Thank you!
His wife released a statement yesterday in response to the jury's verdict as her husband's case now moves to sentencing with the following message, quote, injustice comes with a heavy cost, and today we witnessed it firsthand as Colton was convicted by a jury that was not of his peers, a jury biased as they are named victims of January 6th. This happened despite overwhelming evidence of his innocence, end quote. That sounds bad enough, having a left-wing D.C. jury who are tainted by the belief that they are victims of the man on trial. Just wait until you hear investigative journalist Julie Kelly explain about the rest of that trial. She points out, quote, jury selection in a day, deliberations less than a day, proceedings before Judge Contreras, friend of Peter Strzok, who signed Flynn plea, then recused. Case first handled by Judge Emmett Sullivan, who hired his own lawyer to keep Flynn case intact. Can't make it up, end quote. So not only was the jury pool tainted, but the judges were some of the most egregious from the Mike Flynn case, when prosecutors hid exculpatory evidence from Flynn's lawyers with barely a peep about it from the judge. And then the judge basically became the prosecutor in the case when the DOJ under President Trump moved to withdraw prosecuting the case against Flynn. What an upside-down world. The next guest we had lined up tonight has been hard at work with Laura Logan in creating a January 6th docu-series airing on X, formerly known as Twitter, in installments. Here's the trailer.
You've learned a lot more about January 6th. You talked to hundreds of defendants. What have you learned?
Well, first I've learned about pain.
I believe in my nephew. I am proud of him. He was just larger than life.
We wanted to come and kind of just share what really happened today.
He had never been in trouble before in his life, so this was just so overwhelming. I was sitting in my home, and I got a call from his uncle.
What did he say?
They robbed him of his hope, his will to live. They took his fight away from him.
They broke him.
They completely broke him, and they broke his heart.
It's hard to find the truth these days, and it's needed now more than ever. We've traveled the country to bring you honest, accurate reporting.
Bottom line, Laura, if they didn't want people going to the Capitol, they didn't want people even getting close to the Capitol, it never would have happened. It happened because they wanted to happen.
No one was stopping you.
This is the government we're talking about, okay? Like, they have like nukes and F-15s. They can do whatever they want to stop average people like me.
34-year-old Roseanne Boyland was one of 4 people killed.
This was a woman who got pushed down, smothered, trampled, and then beaten.
Had this been covered at all by anyone else in the media?
No. They named me as one of the insurrectionists that was preventing the cops from rescuing her.
Was that true?
Absolutely not. This crutch was right at my feet, and I put it above my head, and I said, in the name of Jesus, Lord, please stop this.
Jeremy was at the Capitol providing security.
I mean, he's quite literally the poster boy for the Special Forces.
When you were arrested, they never sat you down and said, is this yours?
No, because they're the same officers that recruited me on December 9th of 2020.
From Department of Homeland Security.
The same 2 guys.
These people are hiding all of this information.